Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live show for EOS discussions. So this is Investing with the Difference YouTube channel. We already have.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live
Okay,
show
let me
for
mute.
EOS discussions.
Okay, so my echo was coming in. So, all right, coming back to the introduction. So we are a YouTube channel. We are growing as a subscriber base, 399 people. Thanks a lot for your support. Please continue sharing our videos if you find them useful. So we are covering EOS launch very closely. EOS mainnet launch is coming in less than a week. And do watch the videos if you're interested in some of the security tips, some of the recent issues which we have been found. We uploaded a video today on the key registration issues people are finding. There are some airdrops. So again, I hope you are finding this useful. So today we are going to talk a lot more about EOS mainnet launch, what to expect, and if you have any specific questions, please add them to the chat. So if you are on the chat in right below your YouTube video, we will be answering those questions as we go along. Now, another set of introduction is we are on Facebook, Investing with the Difference page, where we try to share more information on crypto. We have been doing a lot of trading. We have also done some portfolio suggestions, and we are helping with a lot of trades. We made some really good trades over the last few weeks. For example, we have made some huge profits on like Zcash when it listed on Gemini. We had made some trades on Zen, which was listed on Binance. And there are a lot of positives, like of joining the Facebook group. And then, of course, this is a contribution-based group. People are donating us to continue working on these plans, so you can join us and help us grow this community. Now, coming back to EOS. So EOS launch, I think, is getting some attention. So if you look at the chart, EOS is recovering slightly. Even the market is still pretty much negative. And we are seeing some bounce. So if you see this chart of maybe last few days, we had kind of formed a local bottom. In US dollar terms, we have gone all the way down to $10.76 and recovering. And in Bitcoin terms, which is actually much better way to see how US is doing versus the rest of the market. So this is the price versus Bitcoin. So you can see some sort of reversal here. So that's a good sign. I think there's on the main. And as we have been covering some of the airdrops, there are a lot of airdrops coming, and specifically the airdrop on June 1st snapshot. So that is very critical, like the IQ token, which is Everypedia. Then there are a couple more 1:1 airdrops, which are very big airdrops you should be always looking at. So do not try to sell out of it. If you are an investor, of course, traders, you can always define what is your trading position. If you're with us for a long time on Facebook group, we always talk about clearly defining your portfolio. What is your trading position? What is your long-term hold? So today we are focusing on investors who are EOS long-term holders and how they are going to play out. So we have a first question. It says, what happens if we do not vote? Excuse me. So I think we are not expecting a lot of people to vote, right? Means, okay, let's go back to the EOS Authority website, and we were looking at how many people have registered. I cannot find that link right now. Okay, this is the status of registration. So if you see, 50% of people have not even registered. So I'm assuming there are some big wallets which have not registered. So I will go into this, some of the token holders. And there is no portal. Right now, there is no clear identification of how this voting will work out. There is no portal which is created by community. They're still working on it. Even if they work on it, let's say you will have to enter your private keys to vote. Again, you need to be careful here as a small investor. While it's a good thing to participate in the democracy in this community, what if this portal get hacked? What if your private keys got hacked? So I'm like, right now I'm suggesting as an investor, is I do support EOS. I do want people to take part in this voting, but I would say you have to be careful. Make sure that there are enough people who are confirming that this is a safe portal. Let the community come forward. Your tokens will anyway be staked, all of them, and there will be if you really believe in it, if you are following some particular smaller community like local communities who are helping you in voting safely, please go ahead and do that. But I would still say, like, if you are working independently, if you are not sure whether you can do it safely, be careful, because any voting portal would need you to be able to put your private keys, because that's how you claim your EOS tokens, and that's how you make sure you authenticate yourself that you are the correct token holder to vote. So that is my recommendation. I would stay away from voting, to be frank, because I believe that it's a considerable part of the investment which I have put in. So I don't want to risk the EOS voting, and let the big players decide how this BP candidate selection happens. And anyway, there will be a continuous voting process. So EOS is designed in such a way that you keep the voting happens every I think 126 seconds or something, and the block producers can be voted out later. So once we know everything is safe, we let the chain launch. Then we can decide if you want to take part in this process. Now, one thing I would like to highlight is what is happening on the mainnet launch. One of the things I'm reading is, and EOS Go is another channel which is very closely updating what is happening. It's a neutral portal. And so let me just actually go to the EOS Go site. Or not com, it's eosgo.io. If you go to eosgo.io, recently they posted some updates. So you need to understand that how will this launch happen. When the launch happens, there will be a voting, and you need to have 15% of the total pool of the vote. That is 150 million. Again, this is not even working, so there is something wrong here. So you have to be careful. I think many of these websites that are coming up, they are fake. So if you enter, so this is the right portal. So forums.eosgo.io. So you can make a lot of mistakes. Even though I visit this site so often, if I reach the wrong page. So you have to be very careful which website you're clicking. Okay, coming back to EOS Go. So EOS Go has posted some updates on how it's going to happen. And some of the recent updates are telling me that this EOS China, they are starting their own blockchain. They are creating their own launch planning, and they may actually go away from rest of some bigger block producer candidates. And because only 150 million votes are needed to validate a chain, there is a potential for two chains forming at the launch. So it will be a lot of confusion. It will be a lot of challenges when this happens. So we need to be watching it carefully. We need to figure out how it impacts as an investor. But I think there's a lot of politics happening right now. There are a lot of regional level players coming together and trying to create their own influence on the community. And that is something which can have some negative impact initially. I'm not worried about it in long term, because ultimately EOS is such a strong technology. There is so much community behind it. Whoever has the most transparent model, whoever has the most support from token holders, they will automatically emerge as the bigger blockchain. Block.one itself, even though they are saying they're not launching it. And so if you go back to the token holders, so this is the EOS token holder on Explorer. So you already should know that EOS Block.one owns 100 million tokens. So as we discussed, only 150 million tokens are needed to make one of the chains official. And EOS 100 million is a big pool of that. And they can easily define what is a safe chain to back. And again, they are sitting on the biggest funds, which will be deployed on this EOS chain. And they will be able to drive all the money towards that chain, which is identified by Block.one as the valid chain. So legally, I think they're trying to stay away from claiming that they're going to be participating in any of these events and supporting any particular block producer community. But I'm sure they will weigh in as needed if there is a conflict at some point. So that is one thing we need to be prepared for. And it may take some time. The good thing is that tokens will be frozen. If they were trading live, all these news would have impacted. One thing which I'm hearing is that if you have your tokens on Binance or something, they may allow trading even when they're frozen. Now, this is strange because the ERC20 tokens are frozen on the blockchain. So even if they're allowing trading, maybe they're allowing trading within the pools. Like, I don't know how Binance is keeping like a username and their wallets. Like, for example, if Binance holds 1 million tokens in our wallet, within that wallet, they can make the traders trade with each other, but they cannot transfer tokens from one wallet to another. So because exchanges hold some bigger wallets where they consolidate a certain pool of tokens which they are allowing the trading for. So that is something which I'm hearing. I cannot confirm it right now. As per my understanding, all the EOS tokens will be frozen on ERC20 on June 1st, and nobody can buy or sell. And that is actually a good thing, because there will be some uncertainty for a few days before the mainnet launches, and we may have some issues. Now, when we look at why a big chunk of tokens are not registered, you see that there are huge owners. This is the only wallet. So if you go and let me show you. So if you copy this link, you go to EOS Authority, and this is how you will test it. So this is another demo of how you should check your registration. So you enter this wallet address. Okay, this didn't copy properly. Let me say copy again. Okay, now we have the full address here. You click I'm not a robot. Okay, it seems I have been doing a lot of testing on this site, so it's asking me for extra checks that I'm not a automated bot trying to use their site and flooding them. So let's go and see. So this is something which they have registered. So if you check on EOS Authority, so this is a huge holder. They have like 57 million tokens. So this is huge holding, and they have already registered, and they have a public key, and they have a username, account name. So this account name is very important. Everybody should have this. So this is the video we posted earlier today. You need to make sure you have both your key here, and you should have the private key combination for this public key, and you should get your account name. If it is not created, the account name is not created, there is a risk that your registration, even though it happened, may not be a valid key, because for every public key which is there on the EOS chain, they have already assigned an account name for it. You can always change it later. It is looking like a garbage right now, but I think EOS has a capability for you. Once the mainnet launches, you can choose just like you choose your email, you can choose your account names. So this is just a default name assigned. But if I look at go back to the token holders, I have already checked all the other big wallets. They have not registered. So these are definitely not going to be hanging when the mainnet launches. These are very big players. They're holding like $500 million worth of tokens each. And I'm sure these are either they will move these tokens out. There is a risk that they are just waiting for a spike to sell. So there are a lot of theories going around. But I don't believe if somebody is not sold now, nobody's going to go and start selling in like 5 days such a huge amount. There's no capacity which can bring in like this kind of buying volume for them. So I think this is mostly some big hedge funds either, or some exchanges which are holding these tokens which are not registered, and this will take care of itself. So I'm not too worried about the tokens which are not registered, but you need to be worried about your smaller investors who should focus on getting this registered. Now, again, I would like to say again, the people who are watching, please feel free to ask any questions. This is an open session. We don't have any specific topics to talk about other than just trying to answer your queries on what to expect in mainnet launch. Use the chat section right below your YouTube screen. You can enter your comments and questions. So coming back to what is the price movement, I think let's look at the market. So I think the good sign is that EOS is still in kind of one of the green, even though the market is still going down. Coin market cap is going down to 330 million. Oh no, sorry, billion. 330 billion, and this is something which I think we will see more and more as we go along. That EOS will gain more market cap once it launches. Right now, there are a lot of uncertainty. Right now, there is a lot of concerns about what is going to happen with EOS. So we have one question on the chat which says, won't Binance automatically register your tokens? Yes, Binance has committed they will support the swap. So that doesn't mean that they're going to register. We don't know how they have. Binance is a big exchange. They may have worked out with the EOS community, or they may have some plans. I'm assuming the best way for them to get it swapped is create some big wallets and register all of them. It's very difficult. I think some people are smarter than me who are doing this job. Maybe they are mapping out which are the Binance wallets. Maybe it's possible if you have the right tools, but anyway, you can go to blockchain, you can see which wallets are registered. So if the wallets are registered, US token swap will automatically happen. But registration is not critical for token swap because community is already working on getting your tokens exchanged, even if you're not registered. Why I am emphasizing on registration is because the airdrops which are coming on Genesis block, they will only use your registered tokens, because if your tokens are not registered, they cannot see you on the EOS mainnet, and then they will not be able to drop you the tokens. So there's another comment which says the wallet holds 57 million, not 500 million. Oh yeah. So what I meant to say is $500 million. So 557 million tokens, but $500 million worth, or maybe more, like a $500 million worth of EOS. All right. So another question is, will it be possible on EOS to reverse transactions? I don't think blockchain is designed for that. You do not want to reverse transactions. But I think the additional features of EOS is that you can recover. If you lost your private keys using your username, you can recover your keys and so on. So there are some useful ways of how you can use EOS. But I think blockchain is usually is not something which allows any of the transactions to be reversed. There are some good things which US community is doing. So some of the important things is that why you are like, for example, if you send this to your US crowd sale address, some people have sent their tokens back by mistake, and those they are able to recover. So there are some things which are possible, either like the lost tokens can be recovered. But I don't think if you make a transaction and if you reverse it, it doesn't make sense to do that in the blockchain world. And there's the whole idea of trustless systems, where you have to make sure that transactions are irreversible and they are recorded in public ledgers. So one question is, can US legally withdraw tokens? So I'm assuming you're saying, can US citizens legally withdraw tokens for airdrops? I would say that currently, as a US token holders cannot participate in ICO. You have already, most of the US token holders are already buying on Binance kind of exchanges and withdrawing. So there is no restriction on them to do that. Now, talking about airdrops, I don't understand your question. That whether airdrop is like whether you can withdraw the tokens for airdrop. I think you will get your airdrops whatever Binance support. Not all the airdrops are going to be supported. So if you go back to our videos, we have done a lot of things, like EOS DAC is one example. EOS DAC is not going to be supported by Binance ever because they already burned the tokens. So let me see. So this is the video, EOS DAC update, airdrop completed and extra tokens are burnt. So what it means is that Binance will never give you EOS DAC tokens, and they are not even recoverable anymore because they have reduced the capacity, they reduced the supply, and EOS DAC has decided that any exchange which did not support the airdrop, they will not keep those tokens for them to claim later. So I hope this answers your questions. Whether you can claim it for the airdrops can be claimed, we don't know what airdrops Binance will claim or support. I'm hoping that Everypedia, which is a huge airdrop, which is one of the best DApp on EOS, I hope that Binance supports it, but I don't want to take a chance because they have not announced anything. So the other question is, how come Exodus is not an official wallet? Exodus is actually again, it's a very strange thing. Exodus is a software which creates some, it's not a wallet actually, it's just storing your keys. In that sense, it's a wallet, but it's not something which is similar to Mu or like MyEther wallet. And I don't know, it's not a very popular one which is recognized by any token holders. I don't see any information on Exodus It's a very user-friendly wallet. I have used it in past. I didn't like their exchange feature because it was very high fee. Personally, I stopped using Exodus because once you learn how to keep your own keys through your Treasure or your hardware wallets, that's what I recommend. You don't want to use software wallets because Exodus stores your keys in your PC, or it backs up on the cloud, which both of them, in my definition of safety, it's like pretty risky because you are just securing it by encryption with your password, and passwords can be hacked. So many people who get their passwords hacked, so it's very easy to lose your keys through Exodus. So it's not really very secure. It's more secure than keeping your keys directly on your PC on Mu, which is my Ether wallet. But again, it's a very user-friendly wallet, good for early investors. But I would say ultimately the best thing is to keep your keys in Treasure, and that's the only wallet which I trust. Or Ledger Nano, I think I have not personally used it, so it's very similar. So all the hardware keys, I think, are the best wallets. So one comment is Binance said they would, but if you get your airdrops, I'm not sure. Okay, I don't understand that comment. Let's go forward. What makes EOS unique compared to Ethereum, ADA, Neo, or Lisk? So I think EOS, we have covered this. If you watch some of our videos on EOS, of why EOS is different from Ethereum, why it is one of the best, you can look at some of our older videos. We discussed something in this Ethereum EOS video. We did do a very good comparison on why it is better than Ethereum or anything else. So you can watch this video and you will see that, you can see some of the reasons why EOS is unique. But a quick summary is that EOS is the only blockchain which is going to have no fee for every transaction. EOS is the only one right now who allows the account names. EOS is very low latency. It can support millions of transactions per second. So there's a huge list of why EOS is unique. So then you have some other comments. If there are multiple chains launched on EOS, won't we get tokens, coins issued on all of them? Yes. So if multiple chains are launched on EOS, you will have, you can, or depending on which community is supporting it, ideally they will have to support the tokens. But we should not really look at that, right? Means it's going to create a lot of confusion. I would not like multiple chains at the start because it is still an unproven project and it is still the first launch with the real code. There will be bugs, there will be issues which have to be sorted out. While we are also positive about EOS, while we know that Dan Larimer has done so many successful projects, it's not something like if you cannot compare EOS with others because EOS has a history, because Larimer has been taking the learnings from previous projects like BitShares, like Steemit, and now he has done so many test nets. There are a lot of community-based trial launches. So it's a very refined project. But when you say we have multiple chains, I would say there has to be one single chain which has to be backed by everybody, where most of the money will flow, where VCs will be growing their own projects. So let's say China regional community starts a project. Maybe they will be able to raise some funds locally. But ultimately, the 100 million tokens which Block.one owns, that will define whom do they support, because they are sitting on $5 billion funds. They are sitting on huge Ethereum, which they have raised from ICO. They have done all the partnerships and agreements with the VCs. So I would say that one chain will be backed by Block.one. That will be the main chain. And we want the value will transfer to that one chain. More chains, like if you look at it, it's an open source software. Anybody can start any number of chains you want. Like Evolution, one of the airdrops we talked about, it's a totally parallel chain they're planning to launch. Do you think that will be worth anything? Maybe not. Maybe in another 1 year, 2 years, they generate some value. So you do want to have those tokens in your wallet just in case they turn out to be something. But I don't think it is going to be anything in immediate future. In immediate future, there will be one chain which will be supported by Block.one, and that will be a very, very important chain where all the value will be transferred, where all the dApps will be developed. And that is something we are looking out for. The bigger concern is that if no chain reaches 15% voting, And that's where I think, again, the 100 million tokens. So let's go back to the distribution. So the 100 million tokens is a huge amount. So Block.one can easily act as an arbitrator. And even though legally and officially they are not claiming it, that they're saying that they're not launching this EOS mainnet, ultimately they have kept this 10%. They have the uh, decision power. They just need 5% behind it to get this mainnet to be announced and identified. So I don't know if I answered your question, but you're saying if you're just worried about tokens, I think you can always claim a lot of tokens. There will be a lot of airdrops. Most of these are going to be worthless. So you will be sitting on a lot of really bad airdrops. You want to collect them because you don't know which one of them will become big in like 5 years from now. So you don't want to lose them, but do not put high hopes on all these airdrops or even multiple chains giving you tokens and it is making you rich in short term. That's not going to happen. I think the best case from an investment point of view is that one EOS mainnet token becomes really dominant. It gets support from not just 15%, maybe 40% or 50%, really getting the community behind and launching as the mainnet. And then it will be a clear democracy. It's like you don't want a fractured mandate, right? Means you do not want people to be fighting which is the mainnet, which is the real chain which everybody should back, and that actually creates more uncertainty. That's when the investors lose money, when there are multiple chains fighting for that relevance. And that is what happened in the like Bitcoin Cash. They're always fighting. Ethereum and Ethereum Classic is another example. Now actually that is a perfect example because Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, if you look at it, let's go back to the coin market cap. Now Ethereum is like 58 billion market cap today, even after all the fall, and Ethereum Classic is like just 1.5 billion. So this is exactly what happened. When there is a conflict, one chain will take importance. It will really go high in market cap. It's very rarely like Bitcoin Cash. Yes, it can be called a successful fork. It can be called like another chain which was successful on Bitcoin, but it took them very long time to get any relevance because even now I don't believe that they have the community behind them, but they have a lot of money flowing into it. That's why Bitcoin Cash has become like $17 billion worth of valuation. I did a video on the failures of Bitcoin Cash and people hyping it up in the recent fork. And we did a trade. If you're in our Facebook group, we did a trade from $600 to $1,800, tripled our money, and then we sold out. And we came back down to now $1,000. Now, again, I'm suggesting that this is a good price to enter if you're speculating. But these are not investments. All these side chains or these projects, these are good for trading. We don't recommend these are investment vehicles. So EOS is going to be much bigger than any of these because EOS is the best platform to build your next generation of blockchain applications, and that's what is the value of EOS. Bitcoin is like a digital gold. It is a store of value. So we believe in long-term investment into Bitcoin. We believe in long-term investment into EOS. All others are right now just speculation vehicles. Ethereum, it's very valuable today. We have talked about in other videos of why it will fail, why it cannot scale, and a lot of other issues which face Ethereum. So again, means people have difference of opinion. You may have different opinion from me that Ethereum may succeed. There are a lot of people who believe in the scaling of Ethereum. We don't. So it can be a good argument. Means I'm not saying that I'm going to be right. Means we can only do our analysis and say what is the best possibility, what's the best investment. So based on my experiences, I have been investing into stocks, into private equity, even in startups for like 15 to 20 years. So I'm making my best case choices based on what I understand, and I'm sharing with you. So now, if you believe that EOS is going to be maybe fall behind, maybe Cardano. Some people ask me about why it is not a good choice. As of today, I don't see why it is better than EOS because it is still, first of all, it's even if it is, means definitely it's going to be better than Ethereum because Ethereum is the first generation of blockchain. There were a lot of issues. There are a lot of positives happening in other blockchains, but ultimately we have picked EOS and market has picked EOS. Today, if you see within the competition for Ethereum, EOS has already made its place. It's already number one as compared to others. So market is already deciding, even though it's not launched. So it's validated our thesis. So if you if you follow me from earlier, from Facebook or other groups, I started suggesting EOS very early on, and I personally invested maybe a small amount, but I started investing in when it was 50 cents. And recently, in our Facebook group, I just said, like, we have a group of close investors, and we were always talking about EOS when it was $5 in March, because we believe that it is undervalued and it will go up. So again, we can talk a lot about why it is good or why it's not, and you can disagree with me, but it's about what is working today, how it will go. So our job is to make sure that we do our research, make sure we understand what is going to happen, and not really bother about how it will play out. If you believe in it in long term, I think it will sort out itself. So again, reminder to do this: make sure you go to your EOS authority page. This is a very good tool they have created. Check your account name, check your key. I think it's very important, so don't miss out on that. All right, guys, any other questions? If there are multiple chains launched in EOS, won't we get— okay, this is already discussed. So is it a repeated question? I'm not sure. Or it's not updating. So guys, if you have any other questions, please put it in the chat section. One more thing is, I think we talked about this in the video. So this is one of the Reddit posts. So again, this guy is talking about there is issues with public key registration. He's talking about a bug. I'm not sure what that bug is, but what I would say is that this is a good way to check whether your keys are registered properly. Do use the CUS authority webpage, and make sure again that you check your certificate, your connection is secure, even though you are only entering your public keys here. So no private keys to be entered ever, only public key. But still, always remember where you are entering your information. Just make it a practice of checking your certificates of the site, making sure that it is green, everything looks good, no cookies. So this is something which we should talk about. So there's another question saying, do you think IOTA can compete with EOS? Well, to be frank, I have not looked too much into IOTA because it's for a different purpose, I believe. I don't think they are anywhere close to EOS in terms of what they are implementing. And I'm not an expert because, see, I can only do research on certain things. I have not looked very detailed into IOTA. I hear some good things about them. I hear a lot of bad things which happened. But maybe somebody has to bring in some evidence of why it is going to be competitive, and I can look into it. As of today, I think mostly I have looked at EOS versus Ethereum. I have looked at a little bit on Cardano. If you join our group, I think we have some serious traders who are actually helping analyze better. We have some very good software developers who understand blockchain. We have in the community, and we do discuss these things. If you happen to join our Telegram group, and they can share more details. I am mostly coming in as an investor, and based on whatever I have seen, it will be very difficult for anybody to compete with the US, with the scale, with the background they have in terms of successfully launching so many projects. And more importantly, I think there are a lot of good technical projects. What matters most is the money behind the US, the venture capital funds behind the US. They can really move fast. They can really make use of the tools the US provides, which we believe in, that they are the strongest set of tools they provide. They can really take it fast. And that is the biggest thing. You should listen to Mike Novogratz. You should listen to some of the, like Eric Schmidt's company, like Tomorrow Ventures. They're huge. They're not people who are just speculating. These people have really built companies from ground up and made them successful. So some of the people who back EOS right now, if you cannot do your own research, you can always trust them because they have billions of dollars and they have the best teams in the world to really make them successful. So next question: what are the chances that Coinbase in USA will list EOS? Seems like it should be classified as a utility token. So it doesn't matter if Coinbase lists or not. So if you know eToro is a platform which was not in US. They just announced they're launching in US, and they have confirmed that EOS will be available to buy directly with fiat currency. And that will happen after June launch, because after the ICO is over, they have a very clean break. So Block.one has done a very, very clean break from this token, like ICO. So they are saying that we are done with this project. We are not launching mainnet. Yeah, ICO is over. We gave the software. We are walking away. So that is the official legal wording. That is exactly for the same reason. They do not want to be associated with the ICO anymore, because that is the risk. Because ICOs are always risky, because you are raising money, and SEC can go after them. Now there's a very clean break on June 1st. They freeze all those tokens, and then the community brings up the next level of project, where there is no legal entity from Block.one holding their hand, while they are going to be investing into DApps, which are going to be private equity based, under SEC regulation. So from that perspective, EOS will definitely can be termed as utility token. EOS has hired some of the best compliance people. If you look at their big hires recently, some of them are really good with the laws, with how it will be operating. So I'm pretty confident that EOS will not be classified as a security. It will be classified as a utility token. And irrespective whether Coinbase lists it or not, eToro is already bringing it to US for buying directly with fiat currency. So, and it's going to be a big platform. So eToro is a pretty good team. They have done this with in Europe, in other countries, and I think they are going to be a good competition to Coinbase. All right, guys. So any other questions, please feel free. So I can be available for another 10 minutes. We can talk about other things. So this is one of the posts which I think Exodus did, which is a good thing, because about the mainnet launch. So we can talk about some of the issues, some of the things they talk about on mainnet launch. I think we have discussed most of these items. That when is a snapshot? So June 1st is a snapshot. This is a very good summary. They're talking about 1:1 ratio of EOS tokens. They will be swapped with mainnet. So you can find this information publicly. So I'm not really sharing anything which is not available in public. So just don't trust me about this. Just go and look for your own information. Feel free to add your comments if you think that there is something I'm representing wrongly, because one person can, or a few members in my team, we can only do that much research. There are a lot of articles being published. There are a lot of theories. So I think the biggest thing which I'm tracking right now is the 15% token holders approval, how it will play. And this is very, very interesting, how it will really define the next level of launch. And then there are a lot of discussion about bugs. There are a lot of things which are being discussed in various communities. I think Reddit is, all of you should join EOS Reddit. There's a lot of good comments here. There are a lot of discussions ongoing. There are serious investors. And this is now, some of the discussions are very unique. Like they're talking about, already talking about IQ token. Will it be listed? EOS DAC is making good progress. So by the way, we did post another video on core EOS. So there was another, so this is KEOS is another airdrop. This is just like EOS DAC. I think this block producer itself is a huge value creation. So if you look at today, what is the price of EOS DAC? It has come down a little bit, I believe, with the rest of the market. But it is still 18 cents, which is not a bad dividend. And this is just one block producer. And we are talking about 21 block producers as a main producers, and then there will be a backup block producers. So if any 50% of these block producers start sharing their income with you as a dividend, it's going to be a huge gain just by going with this tokens, the benefit of these tokens and dividends and the monthly income or quarterly income. So yes, EOS DAC, if you don't know, they have committed to share part of their income, which they don't invest back into the community, with the token holders. So whoever holds EOS DAC tokens, you will get quarterly dividends. And what are those dividends? They will be, so most of the block producers, they earn EOS tokens with the 1% inflation. So they will be getting that EOS tokens, and they will actually airdrop more EOS tokens to you based on how much EOS DAC you hold. So some people are just saying, oh, EOS DAC is a good dividend. People started selling here when it was 25 cents. They're not even officially selected right now. So their valuation will go up when they are officially voted in as a block producer, as one of the top 21 nodes. And I believe they will be voted because of being very open. It's a worldwide community. It's one of the best block producer candidate. And the other thing is that they will be sharing dividends later on. So do not look at them as a small time profit. US is creating a lot of value. So even these are like miners, right? This is a delegated proof of stake. It's not like your Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is like anybody can mine. There's only going to be these block producers who can. It is not going to waste any big energy like what Bitcoin and Ethereum do. So it's scalable. I think EOS is a good model where they can really scale it up, where they can really create value and get more and more applications built on top of it. So let me look at any more comments. So we say, will we gain something if we hold US tokens other than airdrops? I think US token value will keep going up. Okay, I think we have not talked about, so I will do a video on that. So there is you can lease your token. So EOS is, how it works is, EOS, how they are able to provide free transactions. EOS is able to provide free transactions because you have to stake your tokens for using the bandwidth on the network instead of paying a fee. So now, if you hold EOS tokens, you can actually go ahead and make it like, you can stake it for them. So I think, let me see if I can pull out something. I don't have it right now ready with me. Let me do a video on this later on. I'll explain to you how it works. So basic idea is, in short summary, you will be able to rent out your tokens, you lease out your tokens, and you can get some dividends or your lease amount for that. So I don't know how that's going to work exactly. There are already some portals being created. Maybe I will share a video, and maybe it will help you understand how this whole leasing process will work. All right, so what else, people? Okay, one more thing I want to talk about. So there's a good comment somebody made. Everyone would hedge EOS versus Ethereum. And I have one point to make here. If you're holding a lot of Ethereum, be very careful. I like Ethereum for recent times because it has outperformed Bitcoin, and Ethereum has been one of the most successful blockchain till now. But remember, as EOS launches, they have raised a huge amount of Ethereum, and they have to sell Ethereum to fund the projects. So this will create a selling pressure on Ethereum. Second thing is, once EOS is proven, which we all believe in, that's why we are here and doing this video and you're watching this, because then it will also prove that why Ethereum is not going to be able to compete with EOS. If EOS is successful, it will start killing this whole thesis of Ethereum investment. And as I said, EOS is still sitting on a huge amount of Ethereum, and they have to sell that to be able to fund all this new investment they are trying to make with the various VCs, where the various DApps, they are doing hackathons, they are giving out monies to all the people. So it's going to be a very important thing that you do not, if you believe in EOS, try to lighten up on Ethereum. Or you can simply convert your Ethereum to EOS. One thing I'm sure about is, if EOS is successful, which I believe they will be in launching, maybe there will be some hiccups. Maybe it will take not just 2 days, maybe it will take 20 days. But whenever the launch happens, EOS will start killing Ethereum in terms of valuation. And as I have done in another video, EOS is, in my view of the world, EOS is going to overtake Ethereum in valuation. So it will be two parts. One part will be EOS going up. The other part may be that Ethereum going down. So either way, I believe that it's very risky to hold a lot of Ethereum at this stage. So that is one of the things we should talk about. And I would say that be careful if you own Ethereum. Even though if you go to our Facebook page, we have suggested Ethereum as our core holding. We believe that it's risky once EOS becomes successful. And not just EOS, actually. So we also talked about Tron. Personally, I'm not a great fan of this project, but they have again raised a lot of money, and they have already proven that they can disrupt Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually at risk from multiple angles, not just EOS. We have picked EOS as the best project, but there are a lot of other projects who came into existence to disrupt Ethereum. Cardano, Tron, all these projects, Neo, from a China perspective, all these projects are going to take market away from Ethereum. Ethereum has a lot of limitations. Even today, Ethereum network is really clogged. Your fee is going up every day. And it's a wasteful network. Like, proof of work may not stay forever because of so much energy needed to keep this running, and so much gas needed for each transaction, and the delays and how much time it takes to make a transaction on Ethereum. All these are reasons why Ethereum is not scalable. It's not going to stay. Maybe it will, because today it's one of the biggest blockchains, so it's still valued at 58 billion. I'm not very hopeful that Ethereum will continue for a very long time. Do you know if Ethereum market cap includes EOS tokens or it does not? It does not. Ethereum is a pure Ethereum coin valuation. So when you say market cap, it has nothing to do with ERC20 is a utility they are providing. Each of these tokens that way will add up to in their own world. So Ethereum cannot count that value because they are just being used as a smart contract on Ethereum platform. Ethereum itself is a different token from a currency perspective, and the utility it provides, that is the smart contracts and the ERC20 tokens, that is just a utility that is not owned by Ethereum. That is just you are using the ledgers, you are using the Ethereum blockchain to store the smart contract. That's all you're doing when you are listing EOS or listing your Cardano on your ERC20 token. You are basically just using Ethereum, and that's why you pay gas. So every time you transfer EOS, you need to have Ethereum in your wallet. You cannot transfer it. So any MyEther wallet or anything you're creating, you always need to keep some Ethereum. So this is a wasteful thing, but you need to keep it. So as of today, Ethereum is still valued because everybody needs to buy some Ethereum to operate any of these coins. Even when the airdrops are done, the free airdrops, they have to consume a lot of Ethereum. It costs them money to give you free tokens. Think about it, how wasteful it is. So Ethereum is still the blood which is running this body of blockchain. Like everybody needs Ethereum. This will disappear once blockchains like EOS come into existence, where you can do ICOs, where the transferring tokens, sending tokens is free. Why would you use Ethereum once you can do a ICO with the zero transfer costs on EOS? So these are some of the reasons I think we can always, as we discuss anything about blockchain today, if you bring me any use case, I can always argue why EOS is better. Now we just discussed how EOS can be really, really powerful in ICO platform. All right, guys. So I think I'm running out of time now. Thanks for joining. I think we have built a good community. At some point, I'm going to start talking about more tokens. But EOS mainnet launch is so interesting and so important for all of us. So that's why we cover EOS more and more in our YouTube channel. If you are interested in other trading and how do you grow your Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other core holdings, do join our Facebook channel. Once again, you can go to Investing with a Difference. You can like that page, and then you can click on join this closed group. And we are still open in terms of it's a closed group, but we allow people to join. So do join us. We share a lot of information, and we also have, if you are a really serious trader, we have a Telegram channel where we do a lot of trading. That is contribution based again, where we have some monthly contributions from the members, and we are able to help them grow their Bitcoins and their long-term holdings. So we are all in for making money while we are learning blockchain, while we are supporting these best projects and sharing information. So again, thanks a lot, and keep watching the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We want to reach to 1,000 subscribers so that we can really be featured as one of the top YouTube channels, because YouTube does not consider any channel worth promoting if you are not 1,000 subscribers. So please share with your friends and please press the subscribe button. This will help us reach out to more people and share information with everybody. Again, thanks a lot. Bye-bye. See you next time, and send us your comments. We are always looking for how to improve and what information you're looking for. Bye.